Hey guys, I'm on as you can see, I'm on a different mission than I was before, but we're going to be covering up where we left off. Uh, this time, the games that we're going to cover are the last 5 of my list. And let's see, number 5 is Borderlands 2, as you can see. And that's actually why I was playing this, because it was my number 5, it was the perfect midpoint game. And it has amazing DLC, it has great things. All of the add-on content along with the main game content makes this game like a 90-hour game of just pure fun and chaos. It's so good. It's addicting as hell. There's just so many good things about it. It really falls off on I feel the story isn't the best, but you don't really play this game for the story, I feel. You play it for the awesome badass guns, the fun as hell like moments that you can have, the funny things that the other characters say. Like, it doesn't have great story, but it has amazing characterization. That can be said, like, without a doubt. So, with all that being said, let's move on to my number 4, which is Fallout 3. Now, I feel so-so about Fallout 4. I'm kind of iffy on it because I've got mixed feelings. I haven't beaten the game yet. I know I need to, but after Tuesday, I'm not sure if I'm even gonna have time to beat it within the next like 7 years because I'm gonna be so busy with other things. But you know, it's a great game, and I understand where all the hype is from, but I don't know. Like, Fallout 4 just wasn't the best. But now, in the opposite, Fallout 3 was the best. It is the best game from Bethesda, in my opinion. The only game to even come close to scratching its surface is Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which is another one of my favorite games, but it's not on this list because I've got one game per franchise. And, well, the game is just so amazing that I can't describe how many good things there are. The DLCs are all amazing. Just everything about the game is just so unbelievable. The only negative that I can really think of, and it is good enough to where it pushes this game's, like, just how good this game is, it pushes it down quite a bit, and it's that it's just, it has a horrible port for PS3. Like, it's like, for example, I was doing Mothership Zeta when I played the game initially, and it was so bad that when I went to do a teleporter portion of Mothership Zeta, instead of the teleporters, I had giant question marks. And then I had giant exclamation marks, and I couldn't do anything because the game has just such a horrible PS3 port. Now, it's so good, though, that I look past all of that and, you know, it just reaches this high, but man, it really takes off a lot just because of all of those glitches on the PS3. But even then, it's still fucking worth it to get it because it's such a good game. Now, also, I would like to add that another game that reaches really high on this list, which is my number 3, and you guys either will expect it or you won't, but my number 3 is, well, Kingdom Hearts 3 or Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. It's one of my favorite games I've ever played. It's a game I grew up with. I got the game when I was 6, and I played it just so much. It's unbelievable. It was and it still is one of my favorite games that I've ever played. So yeah. With that being said, though, there aren't really any glitches or bugs that I've seen, and I know that one of my favorite things that I've ever watched is actually watching people stream it and play it, just because watching them speedrun it is just so unbelievable. So, you know, take that as you will. The game is amazing. So is the first one, but I like the second one just a little bit more. Just because of the extra combat stuff that it offers. So it's just completely unbelievable, honestly. It's just, the game is just so, I keep saying it's unbelievable, but the game really is just completely unbelievable. It is in fact one of my favorite games I've ever played. So, you know, take that as you will. And what I will say now is that, with all of those things being said about that, the game that I guess in a sense takes the cake is, well, none other than, or takes the cake for number 2 is none other than my bread and butter, DMC3. So Devil May Cry 3. It may not be the best Devil May Cry game, but it is sure as hell one of the best games I've ever gotten the privilege to play. So, you know, you guys can take that as you will, but the game is definitely a phenomenal piece of art in that the combat is amazing, it's fun, it's so many things, but the last thing that it isn't, the last thing that it is, you know, boring, because it's not. It's so fun, it's so exciting, it's ecstatic, you feel so full of energy when you play the game. It's great. Because just stacking combos and attacking is just so much fun. But with all that being said, it is the best of the games, but it is still only, well, it is still only a portion even as good as the first one, or as my number 1. And my number 1 is, well, you guys know what it is, I've already mentioned it, but my number 1 is without a shadow of a doubt rather, Dark Souls 1. It is a beautiful piece of art. It is a game that just grips you by the heart and shakes you and tells you that you gotta do this shit, because you gotta praise that sun all day, every day. And it's such an amazing game, and I love it. Not much more can be said other than it's probably one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. And actually, it is the best game I've ever played in my entire life, because it's number 1 for me. So, well, you guys can say what you will, but that's how it stands for me. And with that being the case, well, it's an unbelievable work of art for me. So, you know, the combat, and I'm going to go into some extreme depth for this game, but the combat is completely just, the combat is fast-paced. You have to know what you're doing. You have to not ever give your opponent a second to move. You have to know what you're doing. If not, then, you know, you're in trouble. The mechanics of battle are astonishing at best. At worst, they're amazing and fucking awesome. And, well, just everything about the game is just super, like, amazing. So, you know, the PvP is great, the PvE is great, the bosses are all very well designed. Everything about the game is just so good. I don't have any bad things to say about it. It is a 10 out of 10 game for me. But I am also a giant fan, so my decision is obscured in that I am a giant fan, but I have spent like more than 3,000 hours in the game world of Lordran. So, say what you will, but, you know, I am a fan. Now, I know this is out of order, but, you know, bear with me. This is my first time doing a video like this. My So pick up every game from 1 to 10, pick up all of them if you want to. I recommend every single one of these games, as well as the honorable mentions that I'm about to name. So, you know, if you guys can, then, you know, definitely check these games out. But the honorable mentions are Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, as well as Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Those two are just amazing games. You need to play Path of Radiance first, and then you can data transfer all of your character info to Radiant Dawn, and it's so good. I'm actually playing the game right now. It's a game that I've been wanting for like 9 years of my life, and I finally have it. So it is just, without a doubt, it's a great game, or a great series of games. Get both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, the two of the gems of the Legend of Zelda games. They're both amazing games, like, without a doubt. And get Bloodborne and Salt and Sanctuary, because Bloodborne is a unofficial Souls game, and Salt and Sanctuary is a Souls clone that is better than Dark Souls 2, and in some cases I feel better than Demon Souls, which it's a very good game, and it's stellar as hell. So check out those 6 games, and as well as the other 10. And if you guys would be so kind, and I know I don't normally ask this, but subscribe to my channel or just check out my other stuff if you would like to. If not, then, well, thanks for coming out. I love to help other people. So with all these things being said, thank you all for coming out, and thanks for making this nobody feel like somebody. So, bye guys.